Hey Green Thumbs, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something really exciting and, honestly, a bit eye-opening. Did you know you can literally turn your leftover kitchen scraps into a mini indoor garden? It's eco-friendly, super budget-friendly, fun for kids, and works even if you're in a tiny apartment. You can take green onions and watch them sprout in days, put lettuce and celery bases in shallow water, grow carrot tops for fresh salads, or plant single garlic cloves for fresh shoots. But here's the catch. Whether you're regrowing those scraps year-round or managing a living room full of tropical houseplants, there is a hidden science to your success. And it all comes down to the water you use. We're going to uncover exactly why.
We've all been there, right? You're following all the care guides perfectly. You've got great sunlight on your windowsill. You're using premium soil, and you're even remembering to change the water every 2 to 3 days for your water-based veggie scraps. But despite doing literally everything right, your plants are still getting those frustrating crispy brown edges, or worse, those delicate new roots on your green onions just turned to mush. Well, let's dive into this, because it turns out the hidden culprit might be flowing right out of your kitchen faucet. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to look at the hidden houseplant killer, break down tap water toxic chemicals, and expose the water softener trap. Then we'll compare different plant water types, check out a plant sensitivity guide, and finally, go over the absolute best water solutions for your indoor garden.
Section 1. The Hidden Houseplant Killer. Let's unmask the microscopic threats lurking right in your tap water.
Okay, so here's the fundamental disconnect. Public water systems add life-saving disinfectants to keep our drinking water safe from harmful bacteria, which is great for us, but your plants, they definitely didn't sign up for that. When you pour that tap water into your pots, or use it in a glass to regrow a celery base, plants absorb those chemicals directly through their roots, and this chemical buildup leads straight to something called osmotic stress. Basically, this happens when high salt or chemical levels actively block a plant's ability to absorb moisture and nutrients. It completely messes with the pressure dynamic inside the roots. So, ironically, even if you water them constantly, those heavy chemicals mean your plant is slowly starving and dehydrating, just because it physically can't pull the moisture up into its stems.
And you know, it actually gets worse. Tap water is often treated to be slightly alkaline to protect metal city pipes from corroding. But when you introduce alkaline water into your potting soil, it spikes the soil's pH, which triggers nutrient lockout. So the crucial point here is that even if your soil is incredibly rich, an elevated pH makes essential nutrients chemically unavailable to the roots. They're just totally locked up. Your plants end up stunted and pale no matter how much fertilizer you throw at them.
Section 2. Tap water toxic chemicals. These are the 5 main offenders hiding in your pipes.
All right, these are the 5 elements you really need to watch out for: chlorine, chloramine, fluoride, sodium, and heavy metals like lead and copper. What's kind of scary about those heavy metals is they often don't even come from the treatment plant. They're leaching from aging plumbing in your own house or right under your street. With every single watering, those metals are building up in your potting soil. But honestly, the disinfectants pose an even more immediate threat.
We really need to contrast chlorine versus chloramine because this is where a lot of older plant care guides get it totally wrong. Chlorine is volatile, meaning if you fill a watering can and just let it sit out for 24 hours, the chlorine will naturally off-gas and evaporate. Awesome, right? But utilities know this. So now more than 1 in 5 Americans receive water treated with chloramine, which is a mix of chlorine and ammonia. Chloramine is specifically designed to stay trapped in the water. It absolutely will not evaporate overnight. To get rid of it, you need active carbon filtration. If you're trying to root kitchen veggie scraps in a glass of tap water and they just keep rotting, yeah, chloramine is likely frying those delicate new root tissues.
Now, what's really interesting about this next stat from the CDC is that nearly 3/4 of Americans, 72.3%, receive fluoridated water. Now, while that is fantastic for human dental health, fluoride does not evaporate and it doesn't just rinse away in the soil. It builds up invisibly inside your plant's leaf tissues. It's exactly like scale building up inside a tea kettle. Eventually, it hits a toxic threshold, interferes with plant enzymes, and causes the edges of the leaves to literally just die off.
Section 3. The water softener trap. Let's look at why soft water is actually incredibly hard on your plants.
A lot of people assume that because hard water leaves gross spots on your glassware, softened water must be cleaner and way better for an indoor garden. Absolutely not. Traditional water softeners use an ion exchange process. They rip out the hard minerals, which happen to be calcium and magnesium, 2 things that plants actually love and desperately need to build strong cell walls. And in their place, the softener swaps in sodium.
When you water your plants with this, that sodium severely damages the roots, blocks water absorption, and over time, totally destroys the physical structure of your potting soil. Just never use softened water for your plants.
Section 4. Comparing plant water types. Let's evaluate tap, filtered, reverse osmosis, distilled, and rainwater.
Okay, let's break down your options. Untreated tap water keeps beneficial minerals but leaves all the harmful chemicals, so it's really only okay for the absolute hardiest of plants. Reverse osmosis and distilled water, they remove all the harmful chemicals, but they also strip out all the beneficial minerals, leaving the water completely empty. Rainwater is the gold standard. It naturally removes chemicals and keeps minerals, but collecting it year-round is highly impractical for most of us. That leaves carbon-filtered water. It really hits the sweet spot. It yanks out the chlorine, chloramine, and heavy metals, but allows the beneficial calcium and magnesium to stay. For most indoor gardens, it's the best practical balance.
And this brilliantly illustrates the problem with going too pure. Think of reverse osmosis like a molecular screen door that strips out the good calcium right along with the bad chemicals. If you're using RO or distilled water, you're working with a completely blank canvas. That means it is entirely on you to manually add back a diluted fertilizer every single time you water just to replace those missing life-sustaining minerals. If you don't, your plants are going to suffer from severe deficiencies.
Section 5. Plant Sensitivity Guide. Because as you might guess, not all plants react the same way.
The specific species you're growing dictates your water strategy. If you have tolerant plants like pothos or snake plants, or you're just throwing a sturdy garlic clove into some soil for fresh shoots, regular tap water is usually totally fine. But very sensitive species like calatheas, dracaenas, and spider plants are incredibly intolerant to fluoride. If you give them standard tap water, they will show immediate brown crispy tips, no question. For these guys, you specifically need filtered water that includes fluoride removal media, like activated aluminum, because your standard carbon filter just won't catch flora.
Section 6. The best water solutions. Let's go over the actionable steps to fix your plant's water supply.
All right, here is your step-by-step game plan. Step 1. Select healthy scraps or plants and identify their specific chemical sensitivity. Step 2, test your home water. You can grab a really cheap home water test kit to see exactly what hidden contaminants you're dealing with, high chlorine, heavy metals, whatever it is. Step 3, choose the right multi-stage filter. Honestly, for the vast majority of us, a basic multi-stage pitcher filter is completely sufficient. It's a super easy upgrade that pulls out the bad stuff, keeps the good minerals, and gives you a much better baseline. Pro tip, when you're regrowing those veggies, make sure you rotate your containers for even sunlight, don't overcrowd them, and absolutely use that filtered water.
Because ultimately, whether you're trying to keep a finicky calathea alive or you're having fun regrowing fresh organic lettuce and green onions right from your kitchen scraps, it all comes down to the root environment. Filtered water helps maintain this delicate ecosystem that's essential for organic growing success. Healthy soil biology is the true secret here. If you protect those microbes by giving them clean water, they are going to feed your plants and give you that lush, vibrant harvest you're looking for.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to consider the next time you go to hydrate your indoor garden. What is really in your watering can? I highly encourage you to rethink your daily plant care habits, maybe look into a simple filtration pitcher, and turn yesterday's kitchen scraps into tomorrow's harvest. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and please share your own watering and regrowing experiments down in the comments. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy growing.